You are?
You know what? You're as good as your last movie as a director.
The man who literally started all.
I'm going to be the elf guy until the next one comes out.
The man who is responsible for giving the world the gift of Baby Yoda.
Now, why should kids see this movie?
Jon Favreau has made many leaps in his career. From actor to director, filmmaker to chef, Marvel to Star Wars, Favreau has proved he can do just about anything he wants to at the highest level. Some would argue his greatest leap was going from directing Elf to Iron Man. Many forget to mention the film he directed after the instant Christmas classic, and before the launch of an entire cinematic universe. Zathura, the movie in between. More than just a sequel to a 90s Robin Williams movie, Zathura, like Jumanji, is based on a children's book, written and illustrated by Chris Van Allsburg.
As a visual artist, I've always been interested in what I think of as cognitive dissonance, and that's when you have two things close together that don't belong together, and you can't make sense of them. I like the idea of putting things together that are unexpected. And there's nothing odd about a picture of a kitchen, and there's nothing particularly strange about a picture of a couple of monkeys. But if you stick a couple of monkeys on the kitchen table, then you've got something that's more than the sum of its parts. So I like the idea of having this house quiet, still, and then I thought, well, there's children in it. They actually don't like the quiet and stillness and predictability of it because it's boring to them. And so I thought, well, what's the remedy for boredom? Well, the remedy for boredom is a game. Well, they'll play this game, and this game will produce things that will make the house very strange indeed. I thought, I'm going to make a game that delivers everything it promises. You know, when it says there's a monsoon, there's going to be a monsoon.
Well, a little rain never hurt anybody.
Yeah, but a lot can kill you.
The boys who play Zathura are introduced on the last page of Jumanji.
Two boys were running through the park. They were Danny and Walter Budwing. And Danny had a long, thin box under his arm.
And all we learn about them is that they don't finish what they begin. That's a real sort of enticement for kids who read the book to wonder what happens to Danny and Walter. Because they know not finishing Jumanji is bad news.
26 years ago, we started playing a little game. And now, we're all gonna sit down and we're gonna finish it.
I didn't write that last page, thinking that I would ever revisit Danny and Walter. And sometimes kids would send me Jumanji 2 stories and that sort of thing. And so, as years passed, I became interested in what did happen to Danny and Walter Budwing.
When you left Saturday Night Live,
And if Bruce Dickinson wants more cowbell, we should probably give him more cowbell.
Say, babe.
is this the kind of thing you imagined you wanted to do?
Ow! He's not Santa Claus!
Pretty much.
I always thought you were going to be one of those guys that did those independent movies that didn't make that much money, but now you're big time.
Yeah, the movie did well, and now everybody thinks I'm a director. So that's where the opportunities are coming.
So now...
But how do you get that job? Because that's a big Hollywood movie in the first place.
At the time that I got it, Old School hadn't been out yet. It was like a low-budget comedy, high-concept comedy with a Saturday Night Live guy.
You still think this is a giggle fest, private son of a bitch?
No, sir. This is some serious stuff, sir.
You got that movie because nobody expected that movie to make that kind of business.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Right. You surprised everyone.
Then, the first thing that surprised everybody was Old School with Vince and Will and Luke. That did really well.
I'm sorry, baby.
And that made everybody think that, Will might be a bankable star. So New Line got behind Elf and got excited about it.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
I mean, to be able to have, a film like Old School come out.
Well, I guess deep down I'm feeling a little confused.
And then to get to do, this type of movie.
You
disgust me. How can you live with yourself?
You know, if I could, I don't know, if I could kind of lay the foundation for whatever the post Saturday Night Live career is,
Right.
these are kind of two great first steps.
Ow! Son of a nutcracker!
When a film makes over $100 million in Hollywood, that means you get offered every script.
Yeah, people are nicer to me now. You know, a lot of people of my generation are now, we're not like the indie guys anymore. Linkletter with the School of Rock, we're just getting old.
You're doing kids' movies.
We're doing movies, because I'm watching kids' movies.
Right.
I can't make Fast and the Furious. I can't make these teenager movies. And if you want to make a movie with a budget for more than $20 million,
so
you got to go for kids or for teenagers.
John's the happening guy now with
I'm
Elf.
happy, but you know what? You're as good as your last movie as a director.
That's right.
Because it takes you a year and a half, 2 years to do it. And I'm going to be the Elf guy until the next one comes out.
Most filmmakers would agree that if you can do it for real,
I got a melter.
It's best to capture your effects in camera. Sometimes that just isn't possible. Other times, it's simply easier to do it in the computer. Jon Favreau wanted Zathura to feel nostalgic. How did he achieve that? When possible, he did things the old-fashioned way. Practically.
Are you crazy?
The first explosion is going to be done just by jolting, no interactive light, maybe some debris falling from the ceiling. The second one is one of the missiles like we did into the cabinet, going through screen behind him, hitting the fireplace that we could shoot at a later time if we want to blow up the fireplace. That was great.
Have all the real stuff happen instead of them adding it in digitally. All the explosions and the debris and everything is really cool.
Part of what I wanted to do that was a little different than what most people do on movies like this is I wanted to try to do as much practical effects as I could. Practical effects are things that are done actually in real life on the set that you can see when you're shooting.
He wants things to be there and be live and be able to act and interact with actors.
When we set out to do Zathura, especially because it's sort of an old science fiction stuff coming out of an old science fiction game, we said even if we didn't do it and it didn't look great, it would still look bad in a really cool way.
The robot was a huge challenge because it was a combination of Mike Riva design, Stan Winston creation of a guy basically in the robot suit. So you had the robot's torso, the robot's head, and the performer was wearing the robot's feet. So we would add the arms and we would add the legs.
The Zorgons were described as these green, scaly space pirates, which is a great concept. You can utilize a physical suit and have the actor's head outside the suit and then digitally remove the head. It's sort of a headless horseman magic trick, but because we have the technology to digitally remove things and replace it with background, that was just a brilliant idea. So that was very much the centerpiece of the whole design.
I think the reasons that we made the choice to have actors in Zorgon suits on set and actors in partial robot suits is that we were working with kids. And as brilliant and as smart and as talented as these two kids are, I think it would be a lot to ask them to look at a ball on a stick and say, oh my God, this is a lizard man that's chasing you.
They're really real looking, so it's really scary because you really have good motivation when you see a Zorgon running at you with a sword in its hand because it's big, it's slimy, and it's coming towards you fast.
You know, even since I was little, I loved movies, you know, that had a lot of effects, and I always was interested in movie making. So it's a way to learn about it as you're doing it, and you get to work with the best people in the industry. You know, you're sort of an apprentice in the sense when you're a director because you are, although you're guiding the people who are doing these things, you're learning from them as well.
We've got a terrific script. We've got an amazingly imaginative director. We've got great actors, and we have been able to create characters in a way that nobody's seen before. It's kind of a slam dunk, isn't it?
You have an incredible imagination. And I use my imagination for a living, so I know what I'm talking about.
Is it better than Walter's?
So you said to them, hey, I want to shoot all my movies in LA. I don't want to leave home.
Yeah. I got small kids.
Who's the star of your new movie?
It's two kids.
You playing catch with Walter? Might if you weren't around. You are so mean. Everybody wants to ruin never keep your promises. All you care about is Walt.
Beautiful.
Outer space, robots, and aliens are all universally awesome, but the heart of the film comes from Danny and Walter.
Can we watch SpongeBob? No. You used to like it. Times change.
Zathura does a great job of portraying an honest relationship between two brothers.
You're dead! I'm sorry. There you are. I said I was sorry. No. Don't do that. It's not funny. You'll be safe in here until Dad gets back. You're just jealous because Dad thinks I'm smarter than you. I didn't mean that.
Movies live and die by the cast. You can have great effects and great sets, and if you don't have real emotional human beings that you enjoy watching and experience the film through, then you don't have an emotional connection.
We knew always that the two kids were going to carry this film.
Somebody must have kicked the board. No, nobody kicked the board. You cheated. No, I didn't.
The difficulty, of course, is that by the time you've seen a kid in one movie, they're years older by the time you're casting this one.
In a session in New York, Josh, who's from Kentucky, was there doing a film, and Jonah lives there. And it was just the sort of thing when they left the room where we just looked at each other and said, I think we're done.
Josh Hutcherson, he's like a young man. He's got this confidence, and it exuberates his confidence that you believe him.
And I remember auditioning the kids, and he walked in after seeing a bunch of other kids his age, and it was like test driving a Ferrari after driving around a bunch of Volkswagens. He just took direction so well. You could speak to him like an adult. I would give direction in the auditions, starting at the level of a child, and then see how sophisticated I could get with it. I found myself talking to him like I would talk to any other actor.
You're stupid. This game is stupid. Our whole stupid family is stupid, and I'm sick of it, and I hate it.
Jonah has developed a lot over the course of the film technically, and of course emotionally he brings a very strong, innate emotional reality to his performance, and it's very, very compelling to watch him.
Is it better than Walter's?
What?
Is my imagination better than Walter's?
Different than Walter.
And they felt like brothers. There was something about them when they were in the room together, the way they naturally played off each other, that there was a dynamic that Jonah liked Josh, and that Josh seemed a little bit older than him. And there was just a little magic that happened with them.
Listen to me. It's gonna be real easy, okay? I'm just gonna lower you down there, grab the game, and we'll pull you up. Yeah. Nothing's gonna happen to you, okay? Yeah. Because I'm your brother. And that's what being a brother means. It means I'll never let anything happen to you, okay? Yeah. Okay.
I saw Zathura at the drive-in theater when I was 5 years old, and it was one of the first ever movies I remember watching. Looking back on Zathura now having made my own little movies, it reminds me of my love for practical effects, and that a powerful performance can come from any actor, no matter the age.
When you entrust an entire film to the performances of young kids, you have to go with the top choices. You have to go with the best kids out there.
They both have a lot of heart, and you care about both of them, and that's what you need to do on this Zathura journey.
Going back to you, buddy. Now push away. See, they don't even...
The kids carry the movie. They get a lot of help from Dax and Tim Robbins, but it really relies on the abilities of Jonah Bobo and Josh Hutcherson.
How important was it for them to react off of the robots and everything?
Well, they were really great. It was a tremendous experience working with those guys. Kids have wonderful imaginations, but they're terrible liars, and so you can't ask them to pretend and to lie and say you're looking at something that's not there. You have to give them something to react off of, and having real robots and real Zorgons on the set really helped that.
Now, why should kids see this movie?
Well, I think that it's really a kids movie, and I think it's a family movie too, because like all that Star Wars and stuff.
Joining us right now, the incredibly talented actor, director, writer, as well as the creator and executive producer of The Mandalorian. Good morning, Jon Favreau.
They're really violent.